Sup, everybody? Roads to Liberty here. Nathan Parada here, your host with Zach Taylor and Mike Kniebel. Sup, guys? How you doing?
Hey, guys.
Yeah, we're doing. We couldn't get everybody together in the studio today, so we're doing this remotely. Apologies if there's any lag on our internet connection. I know mine has been known to be a little bit laggy, so sorry, everybody, if that's the case. But we're back here, ready to go. We're here to talk a little bit of liberty. And what's the biggest thing coming up right now in the liberty movement? Any ideas? Your beard is coming in a little bit. You look kind of pedo-ish right now, but give it a week, you'll probably fill that out.
Respect your elders, man.
Well, see, it seems to me that every libertarian is trying to like out-beard everybody else, except for me, because I was cursed with horrible facial hair genes. I like grow a little bit here, and then it never fills in. It just looks absolutely horrible. But other than your facial hair,
getting there ready.
Other than your facial hair,
ready for the national convention, Nathan. That's why.
Well, that's a shame because Ben shaved his going to the convention, so he actually looks like your long lost brother when he does that.
Well, should we get into it, guys? Because Nathan, you and I are sticking around up here, and Zach's heading down to New Orleans in a couple of days. He's gonna load up into a car and drive all the way down there.
No, we upgraded because David decided that we didn't have enough stuff going with us already. So he's like, Zach, can you and Danny take a bunch more stuff? I'm like, not in a Versa, we can't. So he's like, well, we'll get an upgrade. So now we're going down in a Jeep Compass.
What the? Jeez Louise, like freaking Dave spares no expense to send his people.
Okay, so here's the thing. We have 4 hybrid laptops.
Are you giving those away?
You're so funny.
They're raffles.
We have 2 speakers, 2 like 20 or 24 inch TVs for our booths so that we can run video. Actually, here's one of the TVs.
Well, let's
Bam, look at that.
All right, so Zach here is the
beautiful
only member
camera that I'm on. That's why my camera is like freaking gorgeous. It's actually a 4K camera. So
you and Ben gonna do any podcasting live streams while you're down there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing so much video work. Like if he wants to, you know, Ben hates me, so
he does not, Mitch. You think everybody hates you? Nobody hates you.
For a very long time, I thought Ben hated me.
You've noticed this though. Ben is recorded with everybody but Zach.
Right. No, we did have that one 4-way episode.
Yeah, that 4-way. That was a lot of fun.
But I don't recall him and I directly talking during that.
No, he talked through Nathan and myself.
Yeah,
that's how it works. So are you excited? So we got the national convention coming up. I mean, this is your first national convention here. You know what? Are you nervous?
I'm going to national, and I've still never been to a state convention. I had to work that weekend.
Yeah, I had to nominate you. You didn't even think you were going to go. I'm like, I'm going to throw Zach's name in there just for the shits and giggles.
So at first, way to swear on the podcast. There goes our PG rating. Jeez. So at first it was, I wasn't going to be able to afford it. Then Danny is like, well, I've got some connections. So then it got cheaper, but it was still looking out of reach. And then the foundation's like, no, we all need to be there because we're going to be tabling 2 events, and we can't do that without our full staff.
Wait, so, what other event? Take Human Action?
Yeah, we'll be there.
One? All right,
we're live streaming the whole thing, so
nice.
If you want to see it, check out the Roads to Freedom Foundation. We'll be live streaming it. We will be live streaming David's talk at National. I will be putting videos and live streams going all weekend on that page. There will be some on this page, like Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited to hear, your reaction once you're down there and to watch some of the live streams. I've been to a couple. I was actually looking through some of the old folders from my last 2 conventions here. And I noticed, I'm going to see if I can get this on focus on camera, but one of your best buddies and best buddy of the show was giving a talk in the 2016 one. Is that coming in clear there for you?
That Hayes.
So there's a lot of good panels.
Eat some.
Maybe he's given one this time. You should go down and try and make amends because, it's just he doesn't seem to particularly care for roads, and we were nothing but nice to him when he came on our show.
Well, and he's been trolling us ever since. Well, so the thing there was he knows that I hate his guts because I was immediately apparent with it.
Yeah, you were. I think you said on one of the episodes prior when we said we were going to talk to him, like, oh, I don't want to talk to Hayes. He's an asshole.
What happened was he did the episode with Heiss, posted it in the delegates group, and I'm like, if anyone on the convention committee other than Hayes wants to come on to defend them, that's fine. We'll have you, but I'm not having that asshole on my podcast. And
we had him on anyway.
You left it to me, and I took the whole brunt of that because of you, Zach.
Yeah, and think of how bad that would have been if I would have been on that podcast instead.
I'm a nice guy. I was just trying to be
screaming match from about 3 minutes on.
I should have been there.
What's up, Jared?
I would have done it. All right, so let's talk a little bit of business at National because me and Mike aren't going to be there. Zach's going to be there. Obviously, the biggest thing that's going to be decided at National is who's going to be the chair of the National Libertarian Party. This has been a very contested race for the last few months. A lot of crap has been flying around all over the place. We got pretty much a two-man race between Joshua Smith and Nick Sarwark, and then you have a few minors in there that aren't going to make much noise. You're probably going to drop out and endorse Sarwark.
No, Matthew. Oh God, what's his name? I'm so bad. I even had it here.
There's 2 Matts I know.
We're not talking about the one. I'm talking about the one. I'm talking about the one that's a pretty good person, but does not really feel like a chair to me. Jared's pissed off at why you're not going to New Orleans, Mike.
Oh, is he posting comments? I didn't see that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, dude. Yeah, definitely send me those questions, Jared. He's got Shutter. God, I can't pronounce that.
Why am I not going to New Orleans?
Yeah,
that's a good question. I've actually had a handful of people ask me that. To be honest, I feel like I've got a lot of stuff I've got to take care of up here. One of the things that I want to do this week also is have a meetup with Jake Porter. We had been talking a little bit about having some joint ventures with Nebraska and Iowa to cover a couple of really important topics, at least topics that we felt would be important and that the Libertarian Party maybe should latch on to, and especially, showing the compassionate side of the Libertarian Party. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff to do up here. We had our evil council meeting on Sunday, and Nathan, there's a lot of stuff that we got to look at, for after the 4th of July. So, we're going to be making a move on our executive director here in a couple weeks. So there's a lot of stuff to take care of up here. I trust that the National Convention will be in great hands with Zach and Ben and Danny and the rest of our delegates.
Welcome, Jason Gillum.
Our time is too important to waste at National. So we're going to stick here in Nebraska where it matters.
No. There's an argument to be made for that. So
you know what? The biggest thing I'm looking forward from National is all this chair race crap ending afterwards.
Dude,
all the people
hurting my soul lately.
Yeah, all the people who are going to be pissed off and leave, they're going to leave. Everyone that's supported the eventual winner, they're going to be all happy, and then a week later they'll forget about it, and then all this crap, all this mudslinging at each other can stop.
This goes beyond mudslinging. Like the people who are going after Josh, not all of them, but a couple of them are like, it's slander. He would have a case in court that it is slander. So
yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. So in 2012, none of the above. There was this big brouhaha with the national chair thing, and none of the above ended up keep winning each round of elections, and so pushed the chair race and all that other stuff to the following day after a lot of people had left. So there was a lot of contention in 2012. The 2016 chair. No. Sarwark wasn't running in 12, but yeah. So in 16 when he was up again, that of course was James Weeks and all of that shenanigans. But yeah, you're right. This stuff with Josh is different. Being, the times that I've seen it, the chair race has always been contentious.
As it should be. It should be contentious.
It should, but it's never been, at least to me, it's never seemed to be this dirty and this like trying to dig up people's past and say that this is the reason why they shouldn't do this. We're all trying to go for the same goals here, right? I mean,
the thing is, no, I don't think we are, because there's a lot of people. And this isn't to speak of everyone who's on Team Sarwark. I understand the reasoning for voting for Sarwark. I don't hate the guy. I just think he's run his course.
I respect him, and I want to see Josh win.
There are people who they're not even in Team Sarwark. They're just Team We Hate Josh. Like, something that I've noticed about this race makes it feel very much like the 2016 presidential election, where you have one candidate who is like the establishment, and the other candidate has said some things that they probably want to take back, and has kind of a meme shitlord following, and the people who are trying to stop that person are more interested in stopping them than actually being excited about their own candidate.
Yeah, see, here's the thing that I see about it, because normally the fight in the Libertarian Party is between the pragmatists and the radicals. That's normally how things break down. That's not how this is breaking down, though. There are radicals for Josh, there are radicals for Sarwark. There are pragmatists on both sides as well. This isn't a radicals versus pragmatists debate at all.
I don't think this is rads and prags. I think this is
not.
Millennials and people who are older.
No, I think what this is a left versus right libertarian thing. It's not rads and prags. It's the social justice libertarians versus the Ron Paulian sort of libertarians. That's mostly what I see, because you look at a lot of the people on the anti-Josh side of things. All right, look at what their priorities are. They're mostly social justice issues. That what seems to be, again, it's not even a pro-Sarwark thing. It's an anti-Josh thing, because Josh represents kind of the Ron Paulian side of the liberty movement. That's what Michael Heiss is about. That's what the Mises Caucus is about. It's about uniting the old Ron Paul revolution and forefront of the Libertarian Party. And all these people in the Libertarian Party who consider themselves left libertarians and prioritize more social justice issues as opposed to economic and warfare issues like I would and most Ron Paulian libertarians would, they see that as a threat to their continued existence in the party. And so they're fighting tooth and nail to make sure that he does not become the leader of the party. And I think their fears are mostly empty, because I don't think Josh has any intention of going through the party and purging the ranks of left libertarians and people who focus on social issues more than economic ones. Not only has any intention in doing that, but he gives that vibe because of how outspoken he is.
Well, I think also there's the issue of like the Hayes and some other people. No, bro, this is a discussion about national politics. My brother just popped into the chat. So the what am I trying to say? So there are people like Hayes who I don't think really want this to get too big, because then they stop looking important. And I I know someone's going to call me on that and be like, oh, he does so much work and blah, blah, blah. He's going to turn into a small fish real quick.
I'm hoping for the opposite problem. I want this party to be so big that I will suddenly become non-important.
I'd like to go back to being not important.
You're not important.
So I was just kind of looking over some of the previous ballots, for the during the presidential years and the off years. And I was going through the 2010 National Convention ballots, and we almost had LNC chair Wayne Allen Root in 2010. Just so you know, I mean, it went through 3 ballots. I would suspect that the number of ballots that you're going to see for this LNC race would probably push 3 to 4, just because I think it's going to you're not going to have that 50+1. I just don't think you're going to be able to get to those numbers in the first 2 rounds. I could be wrong though.
I don't know. There's really only 2 serious candidates in this race. Unless there's a big push for none of the above.
There will be.
I don't know. There very well might be, but it seems like the majority of people are either pro Josh or anti Josh, and it's such a funny dynamic because you really don't see a lot of people who want Sarwark and just prefer him. You see a lot of people who just don't like Josh, and Sarwark is the obvious alternative.
And so I wonder what that feels like, because I'm sure there are people who are excited about 2 more years of Sarwark. I've not seen any of them.
Just ask any Tea Party voter. They'll tell you what it feels like. Any Republican or Democrat will tell you, I know exactly what it's like to hate my candidate and vote for him anyway.
I don't think very few people hate Sarwark, but he's not inspiring a lot of it.
Him.
Yeah.
I just have a difference of agreement with him. He has still reached out and has been helpful with a lot of things with the party. And the way that he runs a meeting, I having seen how other national chairs or interim national chairs have run meetings, or when James Weeks was actually doing his little thing on stage, and I've seen how other people run it, and Sarwark is very good at running the meetings. He's very good at keeping people in line, but there was a loss of confidence. Obviously this past year, we all know when that took place, so we don't need to rehash those moments. But as a person and as a libertarian, I think Sarwark is still a good guy, and I hope he does great in his race in Phoenix. I do feel like we need to change the captain of the ship and see what we can get done. And we've talked with Heist, we've talked with Josh. I put Josh up here for a night too. Just I like the guy, and I feel like with everything that they're trying to put forth through the Mises Caucus is something that we would need. Now they've reached out to a lot of other candidates and a lot of other organizations, and if we can bring those in, then great. If nothing comes of it, then we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I still think that Josh is the better of the two, and I have no ill will towards either of these gentlemen.
So I think we've all, other than Ben, I assume Ben's kind of a Sarwark guy, but everyone else is on board with Josh. So let's move on to a race we might disagree on. I don't think any of us are going to disagree on secretary, right? We're going pink.
Oh no, Karen Ann she's awesome. So.
All right, vice chair. I think we're all Merced, right?
I like Merced. With vice chair, with one exception, I would be happy with any of them. 2
exceptions. There is someone else running that is a garbage fire. So
you're not. Well, one of them danced naked on stage last convention.
And the other one calls us murderers. So.
Oh, which one's that? Who's
Vora? He's running.
Who? Oh, yes, Vora. How could I have forgotten about him?
As much as we would like to.
How could I have forgotten about Vora?
The name, all right, it's like Voldemort. Can we move on from that?
Yes. Okay, so what's the race that you think we're going to disagree on?
I'm trying to think. Treasurers at large. So before we jump into at large, I'm going to make my quick plug. Danny Salazar from the Sarpy County Libertarian Party is contemplating a run for at large. And, let's be honest, it's a long shot. But we're definitely wanting to push him in and see where it goes. I think it would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, he's my vice chair. I've got nothing but praise for Danny. He's a great dude. He apparently just made this started thinking about it because we just talked a few days ago and he didn't say anything about it. But if he decided to run for at large, I mean, I'm not going to be there, so obviously I can't vote for him. But yeah, vote for Danny. He's a cool guy.
I'm sorry. I know he's your homie, but I don't like him.
You got to stop getting to people before I do.
Oh, I wish Danny the best. I will say this: he should have bought some flyers. He should have bought an ad in the folder here for the convention.
Oh, this is
because it's an uphill battle if you don't have any type of materials, and it's an uphill battle if you haven't been in any of the groups. And I know that some of the, like for instance, the unofficial delegates group, I don't know who started that barn fire, but I know somewhere
Feldman started that bonfire, didn't he? Not Feldman. Yeah,
they're all dumpster fires, Mike. They're all dumpster. There's with few exceptions, every National Libertarian Party group is a dumpster fire. I don't know. I'm a member of those groups, so I can share our podcasting stuff. Yes, because it just gets me so angry talking to some of these people.
Hey, what's up, Jake?
It's horrible. So yeah, as far as races besides the big ones, frankly, I haven't been paying much attention to them.
Jared wants to know who we think should be Region 3 alt. I will say this, with all the love in the world, it does not need to be Lauren because she is already way too damn busy. I don't want to put that evil on her when she's doing a ton of other stuff right now.
I really don't want to put that kind of that evil on Danny, to be honest, for the at large. Because here's the other thing. I didn't know a lot of people when I went to my first convention, but I still knew who all of the candidates were for all of the LNC positions by name, by reputation, bad maybe. So I wish Danny the best, and I hope when you guys get down there that if he's serious about this, that you pound the pavement and you work the floor for him and say, look, this is it. Get some cheap signs made up at Kinko's or something. Hey,
he just popped in.
All right, so I want to talk about one more thing, because the races we talked about those to death, but I want to talk about one more thing that's kind of been bugging me, and Karen Ann's been talking about this a lot. The statement of principles. There's apparently a motion on the floor to change the number of votes needed from 7/8 to some lower number in order to change the statement of principles. And frankly, that doesn't make any sense to me. It seems to me that if you require 7/8 majority to change the actual statement, to change the number of votes necessary as well.
No,
seems like a really idiotic loophole could have been.
All right, we're muting Nathan while his connection settles. I think that's akin to passing a law to change how it goes about, like how you would go about amending the Constitution to make it easier. Like, obviously not that important, but kind of the same idea. Let's see if Nathan's working again. Say something, Nathan.
Hey.
Yep, there you go.
Sup.
But,
yeah, it's really stupid. Nobody could have possibly intended for that to be the case, to be able to simply vote to change the number of votes necessary, because that makes the 7/8 rule irrelevant from the get-go. If you can just change the number of votes. So I hope that fails, because that's really dumb. Yeah, I'm an originalist. I'm an originalist when it comes to the Constitution, and documents like that, they should be interpreted as the people intended them to be interpreted. So you can't change the SOP without 7/8 majority, and none of this tomfoolery about changing the number of votes necessary, because that's dumb.
Okay, so let's talk about something a little bit less controversial when you're getting into stuff at the National Convention. And you can doing all sorts of different things with bylaws and whatnot. The abortion plank. Give me a full detail.
Less controversial. Yeah. No controversy there.
So are you going to hit up the bylaws meetings at all, Zach, while you're down there?
As much as I can.
Oh, by the way, thank you, Dan. Danny said that he would never mute me.
I mean, I don't like to mute you, but
maybe we should make Danny the producer of the show.
So I tried to bring him on tonight so we would have 4 people, but he was working. So there's some breaking. So tonight is primary night in Oklahoma, and it looks like Chris Powell is beating Rex, which I think is a little surprising. I agree. There shouldn't be an abortion plank. It splits the party too badly.
Yeah,
with as much as we fight, why not?
Well, hopefully, anyway, outside of the.
I mean,
go ahead, Mike. Nathan's going robot again.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. It's okay. So hopefully, outside of the LNC votes, it's a little bit easy going for you. I mean, you're down in New Orleans in the middle of the summer, so you'll be melting down there, I'm assuming. But at least there'll be alcohol. There'll be lots of other fun things for you guys to do. And
okay,
will Vermin Supreme be there?
I believe so. So great news for Oklahoma. Good job, guys. 788 looks like it's going to pass by 10%. That's awesome. Medical marijuana will be legal in Oklahoma. Great job, Aaron, and all of you guys. That's great.
So, real quick on that, Nathan, I
will raise my significantly more addictive beverage to that.
I'm gonna bunny trail for a moment. I know Nathan hates this, Zach, but
do it.
In talking about this bill, my wife.
We haven't even gotten to the Supreme Court yet.
Is he just? What just happened?
Just go. He's drunk.
This is what happens when we're not in the same room. There's some sort of weird delay. It's like an old chat room. So my wife's been reading this book here, amongst a few others, about hemp, medicinal marijuana, things like that. My whole family is pretty much on the medicinal train now, in some form or another. So my libertarianism has infected many more individuals in my family, and hopefully, Nebraska can get on the train here. I have heard. I've talked to some sources that say there's going to be a big push from some legitimate senators this next legislative session to push some sort of either medicinal or decriminalization here in the state.
Oh,
I can't reveal my sources.
I can't reveal my sources.
Oh, probably he'll probably veto it. But I mean, it is a possibility.
We will be surrounded by states with either legalized marijuana and still won't legalize it. I mean, we will have the fume from all sides, and still this state will be a holdout. It's dumb. I don't understand it. Maybe we should all just...
Nathan, bud, you're not allowed to not come over next time.
Oh my God! Really? Jesus Christ!
We could at least hear you that time, but it was rough.
For once, it's not my internet, guys.
Yeah. Woo. So Supreme Court.
Yes.
The big, we wanted to backtrack a couple days because I do think actually the most important one was the sales tax. Boo, Supreme Court. Eat a mountain of sweaty butts or something. I hate you guys.
Well, I want to know how this is gonna work here. Hold on.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi.
Oh, you're on live. You're on live. Say hi to everybody. Come over here.
Hi.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
The fun of doing this at home. So, sales tax. This is ridiculous on numerous levels. One, because taxation is theft. Two, because how it's going to be set up that ship all across the country to have to file in all 50 states now, when each state kind of has their own way of doing it. There's not a uniform way to do this. It costs a lot of extra money. It's going to cost a lot of extra money for the states to try and figure all this out. Honor system, but also it reverses a 1992 decision that actually barred states from requiring online merchants to collect sales taxes unless they had a physical presence within the state. So it overturns a decent decision when there wasn't as much of an online presence to now everyone's doing online. So it's like, well, let's just try and collect more taxes. And it's not going to lessen our tax burden on property or anything else. I don't care what anyone else says. Sorry, I went off.
No, go off. No, that's it. Yeah, that's the thing about it. These sales, it's really frustrating because online used to be a haven from sale void, paying this crap. Now it's not even Supreme Court for that nonsense.
So either my chat is lagging a little bit, or Jared is like 2.5 minutes behind us, and it's making me laugh.
No, Jared's just typing a lot of questions. So now, because I saw, and that cannabis question would be a whole other topic.
That's a podcast unto itself. I don't think we have time for that tonight.
So the unicameral was looking at potentially having a special legislative session to try and figure out how to deal with the sales tax. Something that, this session in itself would possibly cost $100,000 to try and figure this out. And at no point in any of the interviews have I seen, or any of the articles have I seen, these people say, well, this is going to specifically lower property taxes or lessen this tax burden, and we're going to see this percentage. They kind of throw out some nebulous ideas about it, but and I know when a new tax comes along, they don't lower another tax.
Right.
No, of course not. Why would they do that? They just So yeah, don't expect a windfall for this. Don't expect your property taxes to go down. Why would you expect that? Your taxes are just going to go up. You're just going to end up paying more. That's all this is.
It's ridiculous, and I hate it. I hate it with a passion because I buy so much from Amazon, and when I'm not buying from Amazon, where I'm getting stuff from small local shops. If I can, I will, because I'll gladly pay more for people in the neighborhood. But for a lot of stuff, I love the simplicity of just simply being able to click a few buttons, have a drone drop something off at my front door, a couple hours later. I don't have to change my clothes or do anything. Boom, it's there. And it's this whole thing. I'm just so frustrated by it right now because it's going to make all these small businesses, they're going to have to deal with so much additional paperwork. For the most libertarian president in our lifetime, Trump is not doing anything about this at all. He's still adding more tariffs. It's just squeezing our pocketbooks more and more. And we're getting this from supposed court, and we're getting this from supposed conservatives in the federal government. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, no surprise, libertarians don't like taxes. So obviously, we're all gonna be a little peeved off at having to pay an additional sales tax online. But there was another decision that the Supreme Court passed down today that's a little bit more interesting, in my opinion, because obviously we're all against sales tax. Duh. Mm-hmm. But today, the Supreme Court decided that Trump Muslim ban, if you remember that from last year, constitutional. So I want to get some of your guys' thoughts on that, because that one's a little bit more interesting than the sales tax thing.
So
is this? I just want to ask a question. Is this the same ban with the same countries that were originally laid out by President Obama?
No,
yes.
There's a couple countries taken out and a couple put in, but the framework is roughly the same. Yes.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. Now, see, here's the thing about it. I do not like that the president has that kind of power to just unilaterally decide country is allowed to come into this country. The president should not have that power. Congress should. That is the only entity that should have that power. And even then, I don't think there should be blanket bans on people from countries. I think they'll go through the same vetting process. People should all be treated as individuals and be let in or not let in based on their own merit. However, I do think that the characterization of what Trump did as a Muslim ban is completely inaccurate and just more leftist hyperbole, because it's not a Muslim ban.
So,
all right, it's just not. It's a complete mischaracterization of that.
I don't.
There's
think,
like what?
I think
Yeah, go ahead.
Like when he was campaigning, he did say Muslim ban. Mm-hmm. Yes, Venezuela and North Korea are on that list. But
North Korea is on every list, though.
Yeah, North Korea is on every list, and Venezuela is getting that way too. This was targeted at Muslim countries that are at war. And
so this whole thing is crap, though.
Here's the thing about it, though. I mean, yes, Donald Trump was not very subtle in the way he campaigned for this thing. But you can call it a Muslim ban if you want, but it's just not accurate. There's 5-7 countries on this list, and all of the countries on the list are safe havens of terrorism. Now you can understand.
You could say that it's a Shiite ban, certainly, because all the Shiite countries are on that list.
So if we're trying to target countries for terrorist ties, it's rather ridiculous that we still allow all of this, money to flow back and forth with the Saudis. Wouldn't you say so? Yeah. I mean, most of the Saudi nationals were the ones that were, flying the planes into the buildings. As far as a lot of these little civil wars and the rise of ISIS and all this other stuff out there. There's been a lot of these groups that have been funded by the Saudis, and yet we're still going to just say, oh no, whoever from that country can come in, but we're going to target, Iran, we're going to target some of these other countries. It's all stuff that the military-industrial complex wants. We know this. We all know this. This has been a plan that's been laid out for a while.
I think there's something else that I don't think anyone else is talking about, Because you look at the countries, it's Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. And no one's talking about Yemen still, despite the horrific genocide going on in that country.
No, because our government's helping to fund that genocide.
Right. That is what our party should like. This is why I want change in our leadership to throw back. We should be hammering that on every platform we have continuously. Why are we doing this in Yemen? What does this have to do with us? Why we are not bringing this up every single day is beyond me. This is atrocious. And they're on this list.
What is it, a cholera outbreak? I mean, how many hundreds of thousands of people have been displaced or killed during this? It is a complete and utter atrocity, but because it's the Saudis, our friends, were okay with it, and we're not speaking out about it. And you're damn right, this is something that the National Party should be latching onto and saying, this is why we speak out against foreign entanglements. This is why we speak out against actions like this, is because we don't want to see people dying anywhere, but especially in these kind of numbers and this kind of barbaric conditions. It's utterly ridiculous, and then we try and take the high ground in Syria.
Yeah, and then we're the ones solely responsible. No, you're right. You're absolutely right to be angry about this kind of thing, because it wouldn't be happening without U.S. support. You think Saudi Arabia would be bombing Yemen and blockading it without U.S. support, without our consent to do it? It would be, if not for the United States letting Saudi Arabia bomb them and blockade them and cause a humanitarian.
So the question for me, like when you look at the last 30 years of American foreign policy in the Middle East, who is getting, like, we need to start following money and arresting people. Someone has to be getting kickbacks from Saudi Arabia. The Gulf War was Saudi Arabia pushing us into defending Kuwait because they didn't want to do it. They would have taken on Iraq pretty well. It would have been close. They probably would have been okay.
There was no reason to take on Iraq during that point. I mean, when just a few years prior, we're all buddy with Iraq as they're going against Iran, and then all of a sudden, whoa, hold on, now you're messing with our oil situation. We can't have that. It reminds me of a little George Carlin sketch, where he's talking about who are the last white people that we bombed, and it was the Nazis. And he's like, it's because they were trying to cut in our action and take over the world. He's like, bullshit, that's our fucking job.
No, we bombed some white people in Bosnia.
Okay, yeah, well, I think this came out around.
There was the Bosnia War.
But
yeah, there was Bosnia, but other than
I don't. Mike just blew our PG-13 rating.
Sorry, it's quoting George Carlin.
I blew that earlier.
Well, he's dropping F-bombs
I thought I did
now.
That earlier.
There's no coming back.
It's my favorite George Carlin skit, man. Just give me a break.
But it's fine. But it's good.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, dude. The heart of this issue is that the president does have the room by Congress to set these kind of policies, and that's why the Supreme Court ruling is technically right, because it did give the president to set these policies. They did do that. He does have that power. And the question we should be asking ourselves is, why does the have to make these decisions? I mean, this is the kind of thing that libertarians should be focusing on, because ban is legal. It is legal. It is. The Supreme Court made the right call on that, on the legal standpoint, in my opinion. But should the president have that power? And I would say, of course not. The president should not have the kind of power to pass unilateral immigration law. The president should not be able to pass tariffs on a whim. These are not things that the president should be able to do, and this is why libertarians need to fight to restrain presidential power. It's so frustrating because of cowards. They're all a bunch of craven morons who won't stand up for themselves. They're a bunch of cucks who gave up their power to the president, and they're so afraid of taking a stand that might get their voter base turned against them, that they'll give up all their powers to the president and let him do everything, because the president bears less rage. He's going to be primaried out. Of course he's not. He doesn't face primary opponents. He just has to fight Democrats or Republicans. He just has to fight the other political parties. So this is really about Congress and their cowardice and their unwillingness to take upon themselves the responsibilities of the powers given to them by the Constitution and actually do their jobs. This is something they should be doing. These are decisions they should be making. But because they've capitulated them in their cowardice and given them to the president, now we're facing the situation where Donald Trump has all this power that practically nobody wants him to have. Like, good job, Republicans. Good job, Democrats, too, because they did this over the course of the last 8 years. How much power did they give up to Obama? And now they're complaining that Donald Trump has it. Well, you reap what you sow, Democrats. That's what you get. Now the guy running the whole country, hate, is a guy you compared to Hitler, a guy you call a Nazi. How's that working out for you? Maybe there's a little bit of truth to what libertarians have been saying this entire time. Maybe if you just take the power out, not just the executive, take the power out of government entirely and put it back in the individuals, give it back to you and me, give it back to all these protesters marching on the street like a bunch of idiots, give it back to them, maybe things will be a lot better.
Boy, we're both riled up, huh, Nathan?
This is my second glass of Captain and Coke, so yes.
I've been listening to a lot of I listen to a lot of Dave Smith, and so when he starts kind of going on about some of these things, I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. Let's do, start getting out my anarchist side. I'm actually looking forward to, Zach, we were going to have a borders debate on this podcast soon, weren't we?
So I want to move that to the foundation because it's Joe. So that would be because we need content for that a lot worse right now.
Am I still going to be arguing?
The foundation isn't the foundation's like main things healthcare and cryptocurrency and education.
It's freedom. I mean, we can split the screen. It's not like
of course it's freedom.
Thing where like our Minds account that I don't ever use anymore, and our SoundCloud will still take that, so it's not like it'll just get split again like that other thing did.
So, what was the final Supreme Court thing that we wanted to talk about? That I have seen this one like split down what seems party lines. Democrats hate it, Republicans love it. And
is it the bake the cake thing?
What's that?
Are you talking about the bake the cake thing?
No, I'm talking about the crisis pregnancy centers. That whole thing about the referrals. I thought this was one that you guys
they slapped California because California made a law that said that crisis pregnancy centers that had to let women know that abortion was an option, and the Supreme Court's like, that's a First Amendment violation. Actually, you can't compel speech.
Well, good. Okay. If that's I don't know much about this case, but if that's what the case is about, then yeah, you can't compel speech. Duh. It seems obvious to me. You can't force people to say what they don't want to say.
Yeah.
What was that noise? Was that thunder?
No, it wasn't.
What was that?
I don't know, buddy. I don't know. I'll be on a second. Daddy's recording. That was Daddy's light, but okay.
That was just me yelling. That's what he was hearing.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right, but we do need to wrap up. Final thoughts on all the anger and hostility that we've drummed up today?
I just got it all out of my system. I'm going to go hang out with my kids, watch some cartoons, eat some cereal. There are some serious things that we need to take in, and leadership of the LNC decides to hit on the foreign policy on Yemen. I hope they decide to hit on some serious issues, and I hope that oh man, that we're over this drama for at least another year until everyone starts talking about who our presidential candidate's going to be.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
That's already
I'm looking forward to that.
You know that. That's like they're already going to war over that nonsense.
I know. Let's have a little bit of time where we're all joined together, singing "Kumbaya," and we're moving towards, securing some libertarian goals. I know that's what we're going to be doing here in Nebraska, isn't that right, Nathan?
Hey,
yeah.
When are we doing this? When are we doing this?
As long as a certain somebody stops getting me banned from Facebook, and we can sing "Kumbaya" all you want. Because that happens.
Yeah, that person. Anyway, when are we doing this garage sale, huh?
Guess it's as good as mine.
Go do national first. You go do national first.
It has to be after national, but
let's get through national. Jake and I are going to try and work on some stuff this next week. We've got a lot of big fun things coming up here over the next couple weeks with the party. So let's just get through. Let's get through the 4th of July. And we'll see how everything kind of turns out for this garage sale and moving forward.
Mm-hmm. All right, everyone. Nathan, send us out.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We hope to see you again. National Libertarian Party Convention is coming up. Zach will be live streaming from there. I've been threatening him if he doesn't. So we'll see you again. Good night.
Yes.
I should have sent us out.
A good night you must have.